St. Thomas University Journalism and the New Brunswick Beacon present The Basement Files.
Hi, I'm Emily McPhee.
I'm Joseph Tunney.
I'm Taylor Hoyt.
And I'm Connor Jane. Welcome to this week's edition of The Basement Files.
Here's this week's top stories.
This week we'll look at the effects of low gas prices.
We'll look at the State of the Province address.
And the Bell Let's Talk campaign.
At 86 cents per liter, gas prices are expected to fall along with the declining price of oil. The effects on the Canadian economy could be better than you think. Oscar Baker III has the story.
Residents of Fredericton are flocking to gas pumps as the prices continue to drop. Yuri Yevdokimov, PhD in economics, says the drop in oil prices is complex for the Canadian economy.
We cannot say that low oil prices are bad or low oil prices are good. There are positive and negative. I think in the longer run, overall it will be positive effect for Canadian economy.
Although some experts fear for Alberta's economy, Yevdokimov says that Canada's economy is not solely based on the energy sector, so other parts of the Canadian economy may benefit. Yevdokimov speculates sectors like transportation and tourism may benefit with the lower prices of oil. Oil prices have had about a 50% drop in price, and it seems to be having a direct effect on the value of the Canadian dollar. The Canadian dollar currently sits at 80 cents US. Some expect an increase in American tourists because of the current exchange rate. But the current prices of oil may hamper shale gas exploration.
In order to develop oil deposits, of course, you have to have some break-even price. So if this break-even price goes down, of course, it affects your level of extraction negatively.
Leading some residents to have mixed feelings about the lower gas prices.
I would have saved $20, so feels all right.
There's a backside to that low gas prices that's going to hurt. And that's the guys that are out in the patch and out in Fort Mac and stuff like that who are dependent on that medium level gas price to keep their jobs.
Most New Brunswickers are happy to fill their gas tanks with cheaper gas prices, and some are concerned about the Canadian economy. Economists like Yevdokimov warn that it is hard to chart the price of oil because of political factors. For St. Thomas Journalism, I'm Oscar Baker III.
Many have either felt the effects of mental illness themselves or had a relative or close friend that have dealt with it. It's a serious issue, but the stigma surrounding it is just as bad. Brandon Ramey has more with that story.
Anything that contributes to the stigma, anything that makes an individual, and I'm talking specifically to somebody who is keeping this inside.
If we take care of our mental health like our dental health, we'll be okay. We all talk about our dental health.
I think that there's an incredible stigma attached to mental health issues.
1 in 5 Canadians suffer from mental illness, while all Canadians are being affected through a friend or relative. Almost 50% of those who felt they have suffered from depression or anxiety have never seen a doctor. The stigma associated with mental health presents a large barrier in today's society, a barrier that Brianna Matchett has dealt with personally.
Even if you specifically don't care about the stigma because you're too sick, the people around you kind of do. So maybe parents or people don't want everyone to know that their child has a mental illness, or like their friends don't want to associate with someone who they deem as crazy. So it, like, even if someone is suffering a lot, the stigma doesn't help the suffering at all. If anything, it makes it worse, and it makes the person feel like they have to hide it even more.
The hashtag Bell Let's Talk campaign sparks the conversation about mental health, fighting the stigma associated with it. This year's hashtag Bell Let's Talk was shared over social media 122 million times and has raised over $6 million. Nathan DeLong has been supporting this campaign since it has started, but this year it has shared an even deeper meaning.
Gardner and I weren't always the closest growing up, but I definitely have a lot of good memories of him though, for sure, and him and his family, and I guess I post about him and, post about him and talk about him and I guess tweet about him and take part in Bell Let's Talk Day for the family, really. It's because I knew them personally and I really love his family, so, and it's tough to see them going through this for the rest of their lives.
For St. Thomas Journalism, I'm Brandon Ramey.
The new year brought a new rate of pay for New Brunswickers. The minimum wage has increased from $10 to $10.30.
In the wake of a minimum wage increase, some businesses are cutting their employees' hours short to compensate. However, not all businesses feel the need to do so. Cafe Loca is one of those businesses. Manager Tammy Blythe said she will not be cutting shifts or changing hours. Blythe said a minimum wage increase is for the benefit of the employees. She may have to up the prices in the future to make up for the increase, but her main concern is that her employees are paid fairly. Blythe feels that New Brunswick's minimum wage is too low and should be increased again.
Everybody has to make a living. We do too, but we can't take away from the employees because everybody needs to survive.
Travelers were welcomed to the Fredericton Airport with a concert on Friday morning. Jessica Christmas has more on that story and what it was for.
Travelers were greeted with an unexpected performance at the Fredericton International Airport on Friday morning to kick off Frostival.
There's 1,000 people in the street.
Two local artists performed songs while others reunited with their loved ones. Leanne O'Reilly and Sean Hudgens were this Friday's performers.
I enjoyed today because we didn't have any microphones and we usually do, and I thought it was fun to just play to the crowds that were coming in, and they seemed to enjoy it, so that's fun.
Yeah, same thing. It's different to play without the equipment, and it's a different audience, so it's a lot of fun to just play to people coming in and out. It's different than what we're used to, so it's nice.
They also participated in the Harvest Jazz and Blues Festival back in September. Although they may seem as if they are a duet, they are also part of a band.
Yeah, we play in a band called Maggie's Farm Revival.
And we play as a duet to like private functions or live entertainment such as this, or like at the Harvest Jazz and Blues Festival. So we have multiple projects.
Harry Wells works for a marketing company in town and helps the airport organize community events.
Oh yeah, they love it. I mean, it's quiet right now. January is a bit different. I mean, obviously there's, when we did it at Christmas time, it was a lot busier because the airport is much busier at Christmas. But oh yeah, they love it. They get off the plane, they're not expecting it, first of all. And you know, it's nice. They're greeted with some nice music and treat. And so and those that are here waiting to greet their family and friends or whoever it is that they're meeting, you know, it's nice to have some nice background music while they wait. So yeah, people generally are very happy when they see that there's something going on.
The live performers brought character and entertainment to those who are waiting.
Travelers have 2 more Fridays to enjoy Frostival's entertainment held at the Fredericton Airport on February 6th and 13th. For Stu Journalism, I'm Jessica Christmas.
The Christmas season has ended, leaving some wallets empty and unable to take their owners out to eat. Fredericton's Dine Around Freddie wants to help by giving restaurant goers the opportunity to try high-end foods at low costs. Stephanie Sirwa has more.
It's local foodies' favorite time of the year. Dine Around Freddie has returned for its 8th year. 10 Fredericton restaurants are once again offering 3-course meals for $29 each. Not even storm warnings could keep diners from their chance to try gourmet dishes during Frostival. Madison Morand is a Fredericton Dine Around Freddie worker at Crown Plaza.
For Dine Around Fredericton last year, I did the salads, so I did the appetizers and I did the dessert, and I did the sides for the main course. And it was quite a bit of fun. It added a little something extra to the day-to-day line work.
Each person who tries the Dine Around Freddie menu gets a choice between 2 appetizers, entrees, and dessert. Thomas McCarthy, a Moncton resident, has traveled to Fredericton before for Dine Around Freddie.
I guess the biggest motivation for trying it was that a portion of the money was going towards a charity. And it was a cheap meal for the 2 of us. We already spent tickets on the Playhouse, so it fed us both. It was a good cause, and the food was really good.
Every year, for each of the 3-course meals sold, $1 goes to a local charity or nonprofit. The organization getting the money this year is Fredericton Food Bank. Dine Around Freddie is a 2-week-long attraction running until February 7th during Frostival. For Sioux Journalism, I'm Stephanie Sirwa.
A Charlottetown couple almost died last Friday night. Steve and Pamela Collette had found lethal levels of carbon monoxide inside their home. The problem was due to a buildup of snow around the foundation of the house, leading to poor ventilation of the home heating system. The couple are warning other homeowners to make sure they have a working carbon monoxide detector in their homes.
With lower temperatures come higher bills. NB Power is aiming to solve this problem with a new initiative that attacks inefficient power usage in New Brunswick. Emma Chappell has the rest of this story.
Winters in New Brunswick can be hard, and this year for certain, many New Brunswickers find themselves reaching for the thermostat. Most of us turn up our heat at the same time, in the morning when we wake up, and this causes what NB Power calls a peak, which is when their facilities have to go into overdrive to reach the demand for energy. This ends up costing both the province and yourself more money. NB Power has a way to help lower power fluctuations, a challenge they're calling Beat the Peak. NB Power representative Marie-Andre Bolduc explains the challenge.
So Beat the Peak Challenge is a 3-week challenge where we've encouraged all New Brunswickers to register and share their energy saving tips. And beyond that, it's kind of a twofold approach. We've outlined a community challenge for the region of Fredericton, New Maryland, and Moncton, Riverview, and Dieppe. So it's kind of a friendly competition between the two areas to see who's going to have more participation on energy saving tips per capita, and there's going to be a grand prize between those, whoever has the bigger participation between those two regions. But beyond that, also the province, the entire province can participate, and we have weekly and daily prizes for anyone who registers and shares their energy saving tips.
There are many simple things people can do to save energy. Turning down your heat when you're not home, taking shorter showers, unplugging electronics you're not using, and turning the lights off when you leave the room. These can lower your energy use and your power bill. Some New Brunswickers shared their own power-saving tips with us.
And we always had our heat turned down, and we used blankets and sweaters by using a heated blanket.
I dress warm and I deal with electric heat.
So, whether you're bundling up in layers or enjoying a nice hot cup of cocoa, you can make a difference and help us all beat the peak. The Beat the Peak Challenge runs until February 6th. In the meantime, New Brunswickers can get creative while keeping warm. For Stu Journalism, this is Emma Chappell.
Premier Brian Gallant delivered his first State of the Province address last Wednesday. As expected, the economy was front and center. Jordan Gill has more with this story.
Premier Brian Gallant delivered the State of the Province address in front of a full house in Fredericton last week. He said that while the province is having problems now, he believes New Brunswickers can overcome them. He set out a vision of more jobs and lower taxes for small business.
I want us to have opportunity here in our province. I want us to have growth when it comes to our economy. I want us to have jobs being created so our loved ones, our friends, our family can stay here, can come back here.
General Manager of Downtown Fredericton, Bruce McCormick, says this is a relief for small businesses.
He hit the mark. I think when you talk about jobs, this province where we need more jobs.
David Kuhn is the leader of the Provincial Green Party and the MLA for Fredericton South. He commends Gallant on his commitment to grow the economy, but says it shouldn't be across the board.
Of course, there's some sectors where you don't want to grow, which he doesn't acknowledge. Specifically the fossil fuel sector. We can't grow anymore in the fossil fuel sector of the economy because we've got a climate crisis.
McCormick says taxes are a burden to downtown business, especially bars and restaurants.
The red tape and the taxes are probably the two most important things to our small businesses. They're licensed to death, whether depending on the business they're in, food and beverage, there's taxes for, pretty much everything, including liquors.
The speech is sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce, so it does have a business focus. Kuhn hopes future speeches will have a greater focus on the environment.
We've got to get away from this odd notion that the environment's out there somewhere separate from us.
The legislature isn't expected to sit again until February, so New Brunswickers will have to wait until then to see if the Gallant government has any concrete plans. For St. Thomas Journalism, I'm Jordan Gill.
Jihadist militant group ISIS has beheaded the Japanese journalist Kenji Goto. A video of the beheading was released online last Saturday, Middle Eastern time, and is widely believed to be authentic. The terrorists captured the journalist after he traveled to Syria last October and was held ransom for $200 million, along with the Jordanian pilot also held captive. The beheading ended the last few weeks of negotiation between ISIS and the Japanese government. With this just being the most recent beheading by ISIS, fears about the fate of the Jordanian pilot are at an all-time high.
St. Thomas is moving their chapel, a move the university says will create a better environment for its students. Tyson Hovey spoke to some who disagree.
The chapel here at St. Thomas has been a representation of its Catholic heritage since it relocated here over 50 years ago. It sits in the heart of campus in George Martin Hall, but will be moving to the former chapel in Holy Cross House by September. Jeffrey Carlton, spokesman for the university, says it will benefit students in the longer run.
We're trying to find spaces on campus where students can gather. The reason we're doing that is we know from studies and from facts and experience at other universities that students perform better the longer they're on campus.
Regardless of the reasoning behind the move, many don't agree. Anne-Marie Taylor attends the service each week and has grown close with the building and its community.
It's going to leave a very bitter taste in many people's mouths. You know, students, alumni, people in the community. There are a lot of different areas that this community has drawn from. We've been here for 20 years, and when we moved here, we started coming to St. Thomas.
Some are worried about the university's identity and see it as a move away from its Catholic background. Bruce Judah is concerned with the lack of communication. He says the parishioners should have been part of the final decision.
You see, we don't know what assessments have been made before arriving at the decision that the chapel is the place to go. It would be insulting to say to the board, well, you have just taken the easiest possible route.
Carlton says the university listened to the concerns of the faith community, but made the decision for the benefit of all students.
The decision went to the Board of Governors, which has student reps on it, and faculty reps, and administration on it, and outside reps. So we explained the reasons. We had our opportunity to explain the reasons. We knew we weren't going to make everybody happy, but we have to look at decisions that are in the interest of all students at the university, not just one small group.
The changes will include lounging areas, study spaces, and a small cafe. The university is hoping this will keep students on campus longer and promote a strong community. For St. Thomas Journalism, I'm Tyson Hovey.
It's the trip of a lifetime for those fortunate enough to experience the wonder and magic. But for some, it's just a dream. Brittany Lively looks at a company that wants to make that dream into reality.
I'm very excited to go to Disney. I hope I get to meet Mickey Mouse.
Everyone has heard of Walt Disney and his magical world. Many of us, as young children, have dreamed of seeing what lies behind the castle walls. For some of us, it was to see the famous Mickey Mouse, while others wanted to enjoy the rides and the fun at Disney World. If you were lucky enough, you were able to go, but if you weren't, it was just a dream. Dreams Take Flight is an organization that gives a child the chance of a lifetime. They allow a child from a selection of schools aged 6 to 12 who would never get this chance experience it for a whole day. Sharon Carr, who is in charge of the Gary Lions Club, was asked to start selecting children from the Gary Elementary School.
The lady in Fredericton that looks after that part called the Lions Club, and of course, call the Lions Club, they kept my name. So I called her back and we got involved, and just from there, keeps going.
It's right outside the hangar. The children selected embark on an amazing yet quick trip. Leave early in the morning one day, arrive at Walt Disney Resort, and spend the entire day there. They are given $200 in spending money for any gift shop. They even end their day with a parade and fireworks. Stephanie McLaughlin, whose daughter has been selected for this year's trip, says she is grateful.
It's an opportunity of a lifetime. It's somewhere that I've always wanted to go myself and have never had the opportunity to. I'm very excited that she's going to get this opportunity and experience a once-in-a-lifetime trip. It's awesome.
Chloe and the others don't leave until April, but it's bound to be an experience that will last a lifetime. For St. Thomas Journalism, I'm Brittany Lively.
Awesome.
A tentative collective agreement was reached over the weekend between St. Thomas staff and the administrative union. The decision not to strike was drafted by a mediator. It comes after weeks of debate between both parties. A strike would have Stu's front office shut down, putting facilities management, IT services, and academic advisors on hold. Union President Jennifer Burry says the membership was advised by a negotiating team to ratify the agreement. The union will vote next Monday on whether or not to ratify said agreement.
Fredericton students recently had the opportunity to play at the St. Thomas Black Box Theatre at a coffeehouse hosted by off-campus representatives. Kenya Marceline has more on the story.
Performances varied from guitars and singing to slam poetry. Laura Ikumbo, a poet from Kenya, has been writing and performing slam poetry since 2011.
You are the snake of all snakes, tongue split in two to commemorate and accommodate your two-sided fiendish deception.
Then I continued to write, and I started to perform back home, which is in Kenya. And I just continued to love it and kept on writing and writing and writing, and I haven't stopped since.
Ikumbo said this coffeehouse, although small, should be treated like any other performance.
I think any platform is a good platform. There's nothing like a mediocre performance. It's everything that you do every time you step onto a stage where people are listening to you.
For Hadil Brahim and Jack Sullivan, it's about gaining experience.
It's a great opportunity for people who are not used to performing because you know most of these people because they all go to school with you.
Every act was different, and the night included a wide variety of entertainment from musical theater, beatboxing, improv, solos, trios, and original songwriting. Megan Thompson is a second-year student who was chosen to organize and host the coffeehouse and adds that it's a great venue for students who want their voices heard.
A really good opportunity for the members of the entire Stu community to go and see the coffeehouse and to be able to experience all of the kind of like secret hidden talent that exists in the Stu community.
At the coffeehouse, the performers were able to have fun while showing their talent in a comfortable and accepting atmosphere. For St. Thomas University Journalism, I'm Kenya Marceline.
Fredericton's largest tabletop gaming event, NBCon, took place over the weekend, giving fans a chance to dress up and get their game on. Alex Corbett has more.
NBCon is one of Atlantic Canada's biggest and oldest annual conventions, celebrating its 21st anniversary this year. NBCon saw some of its largest crowds despite harsh weather. The convention had gone on hiatus for years before Fredericton's local game vendors and enthusiasts brought it back. Tabletop gamers were able to host 15 wargame simulation tables featuring soldiers, dragons, and giant robots. Some games lasted over 6 hours with over dozens of players. NBCon enjoyed a space upgrade after moving off UMB campus. The costume contest was one of the best attended events of the con and featured a variety of homemade costumes. The contest was judged by the event organizers. Local game store owners set up shop to sell a variety of goods. Booths featured a variety of dice, miniatures, and paraphernalia. Julian Christie is one of the 3 organizers behind NBCon. He's confident the con will keep growing.
Well, I don't know. This year I was hoping to get close to 300 people. With the storm, that's hard to say. Next year, I kind of would like to get that number, about 300 people. I'd like to hit that magical 300 mark. We broke the 200 barrier. I'd like to break the 300 barrier.
The con had no budget and relied on a small team of volunteer workers.
We have zero profit. We collect no money. So we have a deal with the Frex where basically we don't collect the proceeds, they get the proceeds. And the auction that we're having, the 25% that we take off the top of that all goes to the SPCA. We keep nothing.
Proceeds from ticket sales and the games in the auction brought in nearly $500 for the SPCA by the end of the night.
Thank you very much, everybody.
With a successful 25th convention, NBCon expects to grow with every year. For St. Thomas Journalism, I'm Alex Corbett.
That's this week's news.
Thanks for tuning into the Basement Files.
Check back in 2 weeks for the next episode.